Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I've got 3 topics to share with you in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. I'll start with this one from the Crypto Basic. XRP holders joining Attorney Deaton's class action against SEC surpass 75,000. That's right, 75,000 humans in the XRP community. Incredible. Then there was this headline also from the Crypto Basic. Fox journalist says Congress's new bill should stop the SEC from illegally suing crypto projects. And so, as it turns out, there's something that that Congress can do to prevent Kim Jong-Gensler from being the supreme leader and dictator that he is acting as today. And then also, there's a United States senator from the state of Colorado who wrote an open letter to Kim Jong-Gensler, and I'll tell you this here. I agree with the strong majority of what this senator wrote, and it really brings home the point that despite what those complete asshats at the asshattery that is known as the SEC say about there being clear rules of the road and so on and so forth, and we don't need new laws or this or that, couldn't be more obvious that no one's buying that crap, and certainly not this senator from Colorado. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I'm not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So let's start with this one, because it's just a cool feel-good moment. You know that the SEC never anticipated the pushback from the XRP community that they received. They thought it would have just been like any other lawsuit that they bring against any other individual or business, and there'd be a lawsuit, maybe there's a couple headlines, whatever, and then the public is just like, oh, good job, FAA. Well, no, because they're really doing a horrendous job here, and they're causing great financial harm to people investing in crypto, specifically the XRP community, and the community is thankfully gigantic. The number of people, I don't know what the total number of people is that have purchased XRP. I don't even know of a way to figure out that information, to be honest with you. But we do know it's millions and millions and millions of people. And so how many of are active and paying attention and in the community? Quite a bit. Again, there's no way for me to know exactly what that number is. But then to still have 75,000 people sign up to be represented by Attorney John Deaton, that's incredible. Because one would assume that it would only be a somewhat smaller percentage of any overall community that would participate for pretty much anything. The same concept is true when you're talking about, trying to acquire new clients in a business. You set up a sales funnel. I won't bore you with the concept, but there are a number of steps in the sales process, and then maybe out of every 100 attempts to get a new customer, maybe you get like 1%. And so it makes me wonder, if John Deaton got over 75,000 people to sign up, it does make you wonder how big the XRP community actually is. And I don't know, but it's gigantic, and it's clearly the best community in all of crypto, hands down. And part of the reason is we're not ideologically driven. A lot of the Bitcoin maxis, they got their ideology and, the down with banks, down with government type of nonsense, especially you saw that he's really endlessly touted, especially in the earliest days of crypto. But you do still have some of that here. Whereas with XRP, it's about the recognition that, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency. You can do whatever you want with it. But it's pretty cool that a developer, Ripple, is trying to utilize it to help the legacy financial system and help some of the poorest people on the planet. And it's just people from all walks of life recognizing and taking a reasonably pragmatic approach, just recognizing this is reasonable. Like, you don't need to take a hammer to the entire damn system, not literally, because that's why there's so many people, like I said, from Bitcoin in the earliest of days. There were no shortage of anarchists, don't forget. And so the type of people that are attracted to XRP, which can do a number of things, including helping the legacy financial system, you're going to attract a different type of person that's invested in that. And so that's why I think we're the best community in all of crypto. It's a different type of person, just generally speaking. There's the articles on your screen. I don't feel like I need to read through this. The point is, there's a crazy number of people. John Deaton really started a movement here, and it's impressive, and it deserves to be acknowledged. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes here to talk about that. Now this from the Crypto Basic. Fox journalist says Congress's new bill should stop the SEC from illegally suing crypto projects. And this is interesting. Check this out. Eleanor Terrett, a Fox Business journalist, has disclosed that the United States Congress has the power to ban federal agencies, including the SEC, from spending funds on certain projects. And I'm going to share with you exactly where this story stems from. It's from Eleanor putting out a tweet thread earlier today, this morning, on this exact topic. And here's what she said. And I was unaware of the specifics of this too. But she wrote, I learned today that Congress has the power to ban government agencies from spending money on specific things. The omnibus spending bill for financial year 2023, one of the few pieces of legislation that has a chance of passing this year, includes provisions that prevent the SEC from using funds made available from appropriations to implement amendments made to federal proxy voting rules. So if Congress is really concerned about the SEC's regulation by enforcement approach to crypto, why don't they add a provision that would prevent the agency from bringing cases without a clear regulatory framework in place? And so, folks, they can do this. Now, the only thing we did know, well before this, is that Congress has the power. They're the ones that can determine who's in charge of what agency is in charge of what aspect of anything touching the world of crypto. We did know that. But this specifically, this was news to me. So it seems like it could, in theory, be a pretty easy change. And this is why it's so important to have people that are pro-crypto in Congress. They can do something about this, it seems like, sooner than later, right? The Kim Jong-Gensler is not forever going to have free reign over the crypto asset class. I don't believe that for a second, but it's just interesting to see that they could do something much sooner than later, as it turns out. And it is very positive to see that all sorts of members in Congress, in the House and Senate, are actually taking a serious look at this. And it's because they understand that their constituents actually care about this stuff. And increasingly, look, as time passes, how many people in Congress will not hold crypto? Like, if you fast forward a few decades, how many people in Congress, whether it's the House or the Senate, how many will not hold crypto? I think that it's going to be so ingrained that pretty much all of them, with a rare exception, would be holding some cryptocurrencies. It's going to be that dominant a thing in the future. We're just in the early phase in terms of the adoption cycle. But once it reaches that point, we need rules that actually benefit the people, including them in Congress. So I just think the more time passes, the more that concept is going to be cemented in. But still, it's positive to see this from a sitting senator. So there was a Senator John Hickenlooper of Colorado who wrote this letter to Kim Jong-Gensler. Now, the only thing I really don't like is that at the top he wrote, "The Honorable Gary Gensler." That's who it's true. I'll give him a pass on that because he's being a civil individual, but we know that's factually incorrect. We know he is Kim Jong-Gensler, the Destroyer, and he cares for no other humans. He's a damn sociopath. But I want to share with you a few parts of this, and it really brings all of these points home. It's so clear. It is widely understood that from a regulatory perspective, we do not have the framework that would be necessary for this industry to flourish in the United States. Reads as follows. Dear Chair Gensler, the Securities and Exchange Commission's mission is to protect investors and ensure fairness and efficiency in U.S. financial markets. The SEC's pursuit of this mission via regulation and enforcement is critical to American prosperity and global trust in our financial markets. I'll pause to note, he said it's important via regulation and enforcement. He did not say it's important via regulation by enforcement, which is the approach the SEC is actually taking today. And then he says, clear rules promote an environment where investors are protected. Responsible financial innovation is enabled by providing clear rules of the road to market participants, and investor confidence is built through stakeholder feedback. I write to urge the SEC to issue regulations for digital asset securities through a transparent notice and comment regulatory process. So pause right there. You already know that Gary Gensler will say, we already did that. We already did the thing. It's already very clear. It's very clear. I'm a little douchebag. But this senator understands that's not true. And anybody with at least half a brain that's observing what's going on in space knows that's not true. So you just have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And then he continues. He says, whatever the risks and benefits of these new assets might be, existing laws and regulations were not designed to deal with how digital assets are being used in the market. Currently, digital asset markets do not have a coordinated regulatory framework. This creates uneven enforcement and deprives investors of a clear understanding of how they are protected from fraud, manipulation, and abuse. At the same time, if you have repeatedly noted, existing securities regulation does not cleanly apply. And again, so positive. Kim Jong-Ginzer would heavily dispute that, but he's a lying sack of crap. And then just jump down a little bit further. He fleshes out some additional thoughts along those lines, and then he says, accordingly, the SEC should take action, including but not limited to, and this is where it really brings it home. He's got 5 bullet points here. Number 1, and again, this is where he's saying they should take action. Clarifying what types of digital assets are securities. Well, hallelujah. Who would have thought? What a novel idea. Clarifying what digital assets are securities. That would be a reasonable starting point, don't you think? Bullet point 2. Addressing how to issue and list digital securities. Pause. Exactly. What the hell is the path forward? There is no path forward. You know, Gary Gensler, I'm not even convinced he read Hester Peirce's safe harbor law, but even if he did, he clearly doesn't like it. He won't even talk about the damn thing. There is no path forward. You know, think about everybody getting sued in the space by the SEC. Like, libraries really brought this point on. Like, they've literally stated they've asked for 5 years. How do we participate in this industry and not break any rules according to the SEC? And the SEC will not provide feedback. So how do you issue and list digital securities? Exactly. It's 2022. This asset class has been around for 13 freaking years, and we still don't have an answer to that. And they're just suing people all willy-nilly. Bullet point 3, determining what disclosures are necessary for investors to be properly informed. 4, establishing a registration regime for digital asset security trading platforms. And number 5, setting rules on how trading and custody of digital assets should be carried out. And so look, and those are some of the highlights I wanted to share with you. And so here was my initial response earlier today. I wrote, I agree with the strong majority of this and seems like a step in the right direction. I think it's great that politicians in the House and Senate are increasingly paying attention to what's happening within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. We need legal clarity. Of course, what I'd really like to see is Congress step in and limit the power/jurisdiction of the SEC as it pertains to cryptocurrencies. The word overreach doesn't even begin to explain the SEC's strategy. So let me know what you think, but that's where I'm at. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.